If Marvel has taught us anything, if Halloween has taught us anything, it's that there are multiple dimensions out there, multiple timelines out there. And I'm sure in one of those timelines, Fear.com is a decent movie.
And there is probably a timeline out there where Leslie Vernon is a terrible movie.
Also, to be fair, there's probably another timeline where Leslie Vernon gets the appreciation it deserves, too.
That is true.
So, and I also believe that in those timelines, me and Dave are responsible for pumping out those movies.
Yes.
There's a timeline in which I'm hailed as the guy who saved an otherwise terrible movie, and Dave is known as the guy who completely fucked up a really good concept for a movie.
Exactly.
So we complain a lot on this show about movies, but Chris and Dave, I hear no one asking, how would you improve it? So
we got ideas.
We have ideas, and this is very much a test out episode
Yes.
to see kind of how it is, because this all came about which it's funny because when last time I looked at the list of reviews, when I came up with this idea, Fear.com was our #1 most watched review.
Yes.
Conversely, Leslie Vernon, The Rise of Leslie Vernon Behind the Mask, is our least watched episode, and that is baffling to me.
Yeah, because we absolutely loved Leslie Vernon while we hated Fear.com.
So, kind of like in the same vein as our rewrite episode from season 1 or season 2, I don't remember when we introduced that, we thought we would take a good movie, and Dave will try to sabotage it, and I will take a bad movie, Fear.com, and say what I think could have made it better, could have saved it. So let's go ahead and get this knocked out. Why don't you go ahead and get us started with this, Dave? You had Leslie Vernon. Great movie. I think that's one of our higher rated movies that we reviewed.
Yeah, the cult classic doesn't get the respect it deserves.
But you know what? Maybe it's fine like that. It stays as a nice little treat for those who know about it.
Yeah, but, so how would I absolutely sabotage this movie?
So how about, like with these, we do some stipulations here. So you have complete creative control now over Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Some things have to stay the same, or else you would just be pitching an entirely different movie.
Yeah.
So just with that in mind, go ahead.
Okay. The very first thing I would do
You're trying to
is I would take
this.
that $250,000 budget and I'm just gonna pump that up. We are talking a mega movie budget now.
So we have enough movie for effects now.
Yes.
Maybe some CG.
Some CG. You would think so. No. We are throwing it into high-paid celebrities that don't fit at all.
Okay. When did this movie come out?
2006. So I looked into like some top.
Yeah, who's the big celebrities of the day? Who's the Dwayne Johnsons of that year?
So Leslie Vernon is going to be played by Vince Vaughn. Yes.
I actually really like Vince Vaughn.
Me too, but he wouldn't fit the tone.
He hasn't really at the time, when you think him in horror, the only thing you think about is the terrible Psycho remake.
Yeah. And then Taylor, our main girl,
yes,
she's going to be played by Anne Hathaway.
See, both of these, like I said, I really like, but the whole point is that instead of it being a nice low budget cult movie with like celebrities that horror fans would know, it's like, let's get the big celebrities in here.
Big name celebrities that are coming for a paycheck. Don't care about the product.
Don't care about so they can just sleepwalk through the project.
Yes. And also, the Dr. Loomis character is going to be played by Luke Wilson.
Not Owen Wilson, which is who you usually see with Vince Vaughn.
Exactly. I went with Luke Wilson. It's like there might be a little too much chemistry between Owen, Wilson, Vince Vaughn.
That's
Don't
actually
want that.
That's actually genius because
Luke
you would
Wilson.
think, you're like, yeah, but he would have. Why wouldn't you get Owen Wilson? Because he has way more chemistry with Owen Wilson. He doesn't hang out with the Luke Wilson brother.
Yeah.
That would probably frustrate some people.
Yep.
All right, I like these.
And it's going to be directed by the one, the only, William Malone, director of Fear.com.
Oh, you get... Did you look into other stuff that he might have directed?
Absolutely not. I saw Fear.com. I've seen enough.
All right, like this guy is perfectly qualified for what I'm trying to put together.
Yeah, he is going to lock this film up. So the whole mockumentary style of the movie that is great and why we love it. We're getting rid of that.
Oh, so it's not going to be like found footagey?
No, it is going to be a serious film. Instead of like a journalist following a wannabe serial killer, Anne Hathaway is going to be a psych major looking into serial killer Vince Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be kind of the relationship. And we're going to have that serious overtone like, oh, anyone can become a killer, but we're not going to be subtle with that message at all. It's going to be very much in your face.
Of anybody can be a killer?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a lot of this person like verbally saying out loud, like, who's the real monster here?
Yeah. A lot of Vince Vaughn going, I'm just a regular guy. I just sometimes like to kill people.
And you said this is played completely straight face, no kind of humor.
No wit, no humor about it. This is a super serious, dark movie. And it's going to be PG-13 though, so very limited on the blood.
So basically it would be a bloodless slasher movie.
Yes. Does it sound good yet?
Oh, this sounds perfect. How else?
But hold on, William Malone's going to get a little artsy on us because little blood we get is going to be anytime Vince Vaughn kills somebody, it's going to transition from color to black and white, except for the blood will still be in red.
Oh, he's trying to be like Sin City.
Yeah, he's going artsy on us now.
Just like out of nowhere, just in the middle of the movie. It just...
Yeah, anytime there's a kill happening, it's going to go to black and white.
So we have a big budget, bloodless slasher movie with a comedian in the lead role and all the humor taken out, and it's shot in an artsy style, kind of like something that maybe Robert Eggers would do.
Yes.
But without the quality of a Robert Eggers behind the camera.
William Malone really just doesn't know what he's doing, but he thinks he does. He's gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be so good. So I'm still gonna end the movie with him in this farmhouse killing teenagers, killing everybody, except for he's actually gonna kill Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna introduce you to our real final girl, which is gonna be some random girl that had one line in the movie up till that point, and we thought she died, but no, she's alive. Honestly, who we get to play her doesn't matter. She has like 3 lines in the movie, but that's our girl. So
is it still the same thing of a bunch of people come to party at a...
Yeah, you got the teenagers coming to the house. Anne Hathaway figures it out, tries to warn them. Vince Vaughn starts, going on his kill streak.
And you said that Anne Hathaway was a psych major?
Yeah.
And I guess, what is she doing this for her, like, dissertation or something?
Yeah, that's why she was studying into like these town murders, which led her into Vince Vaughn and all this.
I think that I think you tackled this assignment perfectly because after you saying all that, I'm just left feeling bored.
Yes.
Feels like any other like slash movie that thinks it's deeper than it is that you would see come out like that we see every year.
Yes. Like when you have a slasher movie, it's hard to ruin because it's a slasher movie. It's pretty easy to make it at least mildly entertaining.
Yeah, I mean the thing with slasher movies is like, all right, even if your story is weak, you can have people like it if maybe you have some creative kills or some likable people.
Yeah, as long as you don't overthink it, like David Gordon Green did with Halloween Ends. You could make a pretty decent slasher movie.
That's why even if you take Halloween Resurrection, right, which is like the notoriously like arguably the worst of them. Yeah, it still has its fans. Yeah, it still has its fan, and it's turned into something that's just it's just quotable. Yeah, so it's like it turned into. So you have a movie like that that is considered by many the worst, but it's popular. Yours just, no matter how star-studded the cast, just turned in a boring story.
Yeah, something that people would think, oh, you're like, yeah, that was boring. They're like, no, you just don't get it. You don't understand. No, it's just a bad movie.
Made by somebody who thinks that they're making an A24 movie.
Yeah, before like A24 is really a thing, but yeah.
I was gonna start mentioning like Hereditary and stuff like that. I was like, I've picked on Hereditary and Lighthouse enough with the
we pick on those a lot, but yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave that one alone. But yes, perfect.
Yeah, and by the way, all the kills are just gonna be
off screen,
or a single stab to the gut,
and with the black and white filter and the red
Yeah.
blood coming out.
Yep. I think it's 10 out of 10 movie.
I mean, it's going to be the next biggest blockbuster ever.
Give me
And
my Golden Globe.
maybe if they did that, Leslie Vernon would be more appreciated than it is.
It'd be more mainstream.
And everybody knows that if it's mainstream, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
Conversely,
that I said that, watch that's this how the Leslie Vernon remake's gonna be made.
get on it, Hollywood.
Oh man, yeah.
Conversely,
You get a tough one.
Fear.com, much like with the slasher, it wouldn't be a hard fix. All right, so when you were mentioning your stuff, I wasn't even thinking about directors. I was thinking more story stuff. But as I was listening to you talk, I was like, all right, for some reason in my head, let's just start from the ground up here. Who are we gonna get to direct this?
See, I did that because I thought the concept of Leslie Vernon.
Mm-hmm.
Super interesting, but also you mess with one or two things, it throws everything off.
Yes,
because it is a very unusual concept.
Yeah, it is weird how if you just change a few things, it can either make or break something.
Yeah.
So for this one, we're getting rid of the director.
All right.
You can have him. You can have him to do your Leslie Vernon movie. He's busy.
Over here doing Leslie Vernon. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll be over here. I'm going to call up Steve Beck and have him direct this.
Steve Beck. Okay.
You know Steve Beck.
What has he done?
He directed your favorite movie, your favorite horror movie out there.
My favorite horror movie?
13 Ghosts.
Oh, okay.
He also did Ghost Ship. Now,
so he's a hit or miss director.
Now I think he's kind of perfect for this though, because 13 Ghosts. I mean, both of those are not fresh like on the old Rotten Tomato meter, but it has its fans.
Yeah.
And Ghost Ship, while a bad movie, gave us one of the most iconic deaths that we reviewed.
The best opening of a horror movie of all time.
So I want to get this guy. So that had some interesting visuals. So he knows how to work with ghosts.
Yeah.
He does ghost movies. And even the designs of... If he could take the designs that he did for 13 Ghosts and incorporate that into the Fear.com thing when they were trying to make it look at all this disturbing imagery.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more effective.
Okay.
So he's not the best director, but for this particular project, I think that it would kind of work well.
Yeah, with ghosts and their effects, he's very good with the cinematography with that.
He's in his element, and even if the movie turned out not to be great, it would still garner probably a cult following, much like 13 Ghosts and whatnot. So Steve's over here helping us out.
All right.
And the only actor I would change would be the detective. I don't know, for some reason I would get Sean Patrick Flannery for him.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's not
weird,
that it's not that much of a difference.
Detective was probably the one I liked the most out of
I'm not saying he ain't bad. I don't know. I think it's maybe because I have Boondock Saints on the mind.
Yeah.
But I mean, even that, you don't even need to. I don't necessarily, well, we'll get to that in a minute, but keep the main, either Sean Patrick Flannery, who kind of looks like him anyway, and he kind of has that kind of detective look.
Yeah, okay.
So either that or just keep the dude.
Right.
Now, fundamentally, in a horror movie, a good portion of the time is only as good as its villain. Get a better bad guy. That was highlighted, starred, and exclamation point on my list. Make a better bad guy.
Okay, so what's your idea for the Sphere.com's bad guy?
Don't have one. Either don't have this bad guy because there are, or if there is a bad guy, no, how about this? Keep the bad guy. Fire the guy who they had it. You know who you get? Andrew Devov.
Okay.
Get the Djinn in here. Get Wishmaster in here. Have that actor, take away all the makeup and stuff like that. He still has that menacing look.
Oh, yeah.
I'd get him, and I would get rid of all that trash, monologue dialogue.
Good God. They thought they had something special with that dialogue. And they didn't.
They were trying to make a killer who is just very scientific, kind of, in the way he kills people. So he's just very yes, I am going to kill you, and I am going to do this, and I will do like meticulous. But it just came off oh my good God, dude! It was like they were trying so hard to be edgy that that it just made them laughable.
But not in a good way, no.
Because this movie is struggling between two bad guys. It wants to have the evil little girl like the Samara Morgan, and it also wants to have its John Doe serial killer.
Yeah.
And they're clashing for attention. So I will circle back around to the bad guy because a couple of my other points will tie into it.
Okay.
So, but get Andrew Devov and fire the other guy.
Yeah, because I don't remember who played.
I've seen him in things. I don't know his name, but I've seen him in things.
He was not good. He was there for a paycheck.
All right, so this actually kind of ties into why I hired the director. I have 5 main points.
All right.
That was the first one. The second one is the point I was saying is shots of weird shit doesn't equate to a scary story. Now
Thank God.
this I can't just pick on fear.com for that. It was in a time where that's where a lot of horror movies were doing, where they think that I really think that The Ring kind of kicked that off, because The Ring was like a bunch of like creepy and weird stuff happening in the tape.
Yeah, but it made sense in the story of The Ring.
But I think that a lot of people saw that and saw, oh man, that tape is creepy. What if we did stuff like that, like intermittently spliced into our horror movies, and just whenever there's like a lull or something, or whenever we want to get across to something scary, have like a shot of like a rotting carcass on the road, a little, and then a shot of like a close-up shot of a sink dripping, and it's just shaky, and you know what I mean?
Almost better off splicing in images from an arcade zombie game.
Oh yeah. Oh, and who would do that?
Would never do that one.
No. So that's kind of why I said bring in Steve Beck for this thing. If
Okay.
you are going to do that, at least make it have some quality, which I think that his did a little bit better in like 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, because each of the ghosts were so detailed in that movie.
And when you have fear.com, all right, now this also ties into my third point. Point number 3, either get rid of the little girl or have the curse be comprised of multiple spirits. That was that was one thing I did not get about that, was that the little girl died. No, the little girl grew up into a woman who died, right?
I think she was like the killer's first victim.
And she was like a young adult woman at that time.
Yeah.
Why were we getting shots of this little girl? Why would she come back in the form of a little girl?
I don't know. They never
That kept confusing me. Like, all right, this
back to
the
when
little
she was innocent. I don't know.
back when she was an innocent little anemic girl whose mother lets her play at the steel mill.
That part pissed me off. She was like, "Yeah, she can't get cut at all, or she'll die."
So
But she plays at abandoned steel mills.
I would say either get rid of the little girl subplot and just have this as like a haunted site, or have the curse be comprised of multiple souls who have died as a result of the serial killer.
That would make more sense.
And again, you have 13 Ghost Guy right here. He can make some creepy looking ghost type stuff.
Yes.
Comprised of different souls that kind of do that. Because I didn't understand the little girl thing. So she's an angry soul.
Who's killing people. Yeah.
Who's killing people except for the one person who killed her, which apparently she had the power to do because she did it at the end.
Yeah.
So get rid of the little girl thing, because I could care less about her. Or make it just a haunted like website, or make it, I thought it was like the dark web, like fear.com was the website that you went to in order to see these live killings.
Yeah.
Which would make it make more sense. Like if you were to go on, it like redirects you to a different thing. Are you watching? Are you guilty of watching? That would make it make more sense.
Yeah.
All right, so fourth point, explain why the curse kills innocent people. Explain the curse better. Why is the curse targeting people who have nothing to do with her dying?
Because the way they explained it in the movie was just the detective yelling at the lady who should have never been on the case in the first place. Don't go to the website. Don't go.
So explain the curse better. Like, we know the curse, if you watch it, you get like ringed to death. You die in the course of a couple of days. And explain what this curse is doing. Is it making you go insane? Is it that because at certain points it looks like it's making you go insane, and at another point it makes it look like it's taking over things around you. Other points it's like driving you to kill you. Like, explain this curse better. What are the rules of this curse?
Yes.
And explain why it's targeting the people that it's targeting. Like that German couple at the very beginning who killed themselves. Did they explain why, like how they even got a hold of like this footage, or where they like came across it?
How they came across the website? No.
They just like filming themselves watching it one day. It's like, oh, how'd you get that?
Or the guy at the very beginning who just jumped in front of a train.
Like, yeah, like where are all these supposed innocent people just coming across this snuff film?
Yeah.
And 5, and probably arguably the most important, why should I care? Why? There was no one in the movie that made me care about anything. I don't care about the detective. He's just your stereotypical gritty New York cop who's hasn't shaved in days and wearing a leather jacket, and like, it's this one damn case that's always haunted me, kind of thing. What was she? What was her job again? She was a public safety something. What was she?
She was from the Department of Health, I think.
So, yeah, it's still stuck around for for some reason.
Yeah, once they figured out it wasn't the bubonic plague, I think she was off the case, but she just stayed on.
Yeah, like why are you
They
still
never
here?
explained that, yeah.
I don't care about the little girl because apparently she's not a little girl. She's actually a full-grown woman who's coming back in the form of a little girl. I really don't care about any of the victims. We don't know any of these people.
You really don't. None of the people that die you know anything about beforehand.
And you know who I really don't give a shit about is the killer.
No.
so like
What was his name? Was it like Amister or something like that?
No clue. Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you.
Fucking trash.
Again, I'm trying to count down like all the things you're willing to let slide in order to enjoy a good horror movie. Like we said, all right, it's a horror movie, but it doesn't have a lot of blood. Okay, fine. Well, if it doesn't have a lot of blood, maybe some creative kills will make up for it, and that'll be like a visual spectacle. This movie doesn't have that. I'm like, all right, well, maybe if it has some likable characters, boring protagonists, and a god-awful antagonist.
Yeah.
And so at the very end, it was like, what are you really left with if you don't have anyone to root for, a good story, or like effects to back it up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and get rid of the CG stuff. Like, that's just my personal thing. I much prefer practical over anything. So
yeah.
Or at least don't lean in so much to it. See, all the things kind of intertwine together. Like, you need a good villain. Our movie's only as good as its villains. Villain's bad. All right, well, what about the people pursuing them? They're boring too. so yes. Now, do I think this will save the movie as a whole? I don't know, maybe not, but I think it will be a much better experience.
Yeah, much more watchable.
I try to, with these things, I want to at least keep the core plot.
Yeah,
because if we like deviate too much to the point where we're just making our own story, then it's like, all right, well, you just pitched an entirely different movie. You're not really saving it if it's a different movie. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But yeah, all right. So this was very much a test episode. You know, just to see. I liked it. I kind of enjoyed.
I think we should do another one.
You think we should do another one? Okay. Yeah. So do you want to switch and you save and I sabotage? Yeah. All right. Did you have one in mind?
I do, actually. Chris, I want you to absolutely break my heart and sabotage my all-time favorite movie, Scream. Yeah.
I kind of did at one point. When we did our rewrites, I think that you said you wanted me to make Halloween more like Scream because it was directed by Wes Craven.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So I have to absolutely sabotage Scream?
Yeah. Make it as unwatchable as possible.
Okay. Easy. And you need to save one. You have well, no, I was gonna do that one, but then I was like, nah, because we kind of did that one. I would like you to save, trying to go through our entire roster here.
Of terrible movies we've watched.
Ooh, I have one for you.
Okay.
Well, it's not necessarily a bad movie. It was just, all right. I was about to say, I want you to save The Girl Next Door.
Oh, God.
But that one isn't necessarily a bad movie. It's just a tough watch.
Yeah, it has to be that way for the story to sell, you know?
Yeah, so it was just an unpleasant experience is all.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, why am I doing that? I'm just going to bring up our list of episodes real quick. Okay, what do we got here? Actually, now, these don't have to be ones that we've reviewed, do they?
No.
Okay, I'm going to give you an undertaking because you've absolutely been very verbal about your utter disdain for this movie, but you have an undertaking on your hand for a couple of reasons, but I would like you to save the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street with Jackie Earle Haley.
Okay.
You have to say, now you have to keep the core thing that it's reboot. You have to have, now I'm giving you some stipulations or else you would just be pitching Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, first off, fire Jackie Earle Haley and get Robert Englund in here. Yeah. Because I want you to do one of the remakes. It was either going to be that or House of Wax. Since I'm kind of like in a remake set of thing of mine right now, and you have to keep the main kind of plot. I want you to save 2019's Black Christmas. 2019's Black Christmas. You hated it more than I did, I think. I hated the Hanukkah movie more than that, but you have to keep the same plot, even including like the old.
So fucking terrible, dude.
See, that's the genius of this thing. All right, I need to give you a little bit of I'll give you a little bit of leeway.
Okay.
The only thing that you have to keep is the fact that the fraternity is involved somehow.
Okay.
But
All right. Yeah.
but you don't have to use the curse if you don't want to, but the fraternity has to be involved in some way, which was a big thing because the other Black Christmases didn't have like the fraternity thing going on. So
Okay.
you have to keep the time period is still the same thing.
All right.
Has to involve the fraternity. And lastly, and how about this? Since I'm giving you limitations, you can give me a limitation on trying to fix or trying to sabotage Scream. All right. No.
Honestly, I just kind of want to keep it wide open for you, see how bad you could make it.
Okay. Well, then that's the only stipulation is that you can make your changes, but the fraternity still has to be involved in a major way. So you don't have to keep the curse, but the fraternity has to be involved.
Okay.
All right, Dave, can you save Christmas?
We're going to find out.
And can I ruin Scream? That's easy. Sabotaging is way easier than saving.
Oh, it definitely is.
Like, all right, first off, Wes Craven, you're out of here. Who are we going to get to direct this thing?
William Malone.
William Malone. You come. William Malone is going to be our new punching bag. Just
Another rule. William Malone can't be your director. You got to find someone else.
all right. This will be fun.
Yeah.
And for those of y'all who care or who are still following us, first off, thanks again for all of you who follow us.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
And if you like this, let us know on Instagram. Reach out and tell us what you want us to sabotage or save if you enjoyed this. If not, tell us how much we suck.
Yeah.
We appreciate any
feedback is appreciated.
Yeah, we might suck, but we love you anyway.
Yeah.
Until then, next episode should be coming out within a week or two. But in the meantime, I've been Chris Thomas, and with me, Broke Rider Dave.
Have a good week, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Body Bag Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment as to what you'd like to hear us review or any horror movie topics you'd like to hear us rant and rave about.
And while you're at it, you can find us on Twitter at BodyBagPod and on Instagram at BodyBagPodcast.
Thanks, and we'll see you next time.